When light touches the savannah, the Serengeti awakens with hunger. 2 million animals open their eyes knowing this day could be their last. The hot air already carries the scent of what's to come: blood, dust, and survival. This is a plain that stretches beyond where the eye can reach, an ocean of golden grass that ripples under the wind as if breathing. But there is no peace in that breath. Every blade hides a pair of eyes. Every shadow conceals intentions. The Serengeti does not rest. It never has. The sun rises, and with it, the temperature climbs. Heat is not an inconvenience here. It is one more factor in the equation of death. Bodies dehydrate, muscles fatigue, the slow become prey. Everything is designed to eliminate the weak before the weak become a burden to the system. Silence. But the silence of the Serengeti is a lie. It is the pause before thunder. It is the instant when the predator holds its breath and the prey does not yet know it has been chosen. In this apparent stillness, millions of decisions are made every second. Flee or stay, hunt or wait, live or die. The savannah stretches across nearly 30,000 square kilometers between Tanzania and Kenya. A territory without walls or visible borders, yet divided into invisible kingdoms, where each group defends what is theirs with blood. Wildebeest herds trace routes their ancestors walked for generations. Lions mark territories inherited from their fathers. Cheetahs memorize every tree, every rock, every slope that might give them an advantage in the chase. Nothing is random here. Everything obeys an implacable logic written in the genetic code of every creature. Dawn reveals the first silhouettes. A herd of zebras moves in tight formation. Their stripes are not decoration. They are visual confusion for predators trying to isolate a victim from the group. Each pattern is unique, like a fingerprint. Yet when they run together, they become a single pulsing organism that disorients the attacker. Beside them, wildebeest advance with heads lowered, animals that seem designed by an indecisive committee. Head of a buffalo, body of a horse, legs of an antelope. But that awkward appearance hides extraordinary endurance. They can walk 50 kilometers in a day. They can survive weeks on dry grass and scarce water. They can give birth while marching without stopping, because stopping means dying. And then, everything changes. A movement in the tall grass, imperceptible to the human eye, but enough for 1,000 heads to rise in unison. Muscles tense, ears rotate like radar dishes. The heart pumps blood to the extremities, preparing the explosion of speed that can be the difference between breathing one more minute or becoming food. The Serengeti has awakened, and with it, the eternal war continues. In the heart of the savannah, where the grass grows tallest and acacias cast scarce shadows, the lion reigns, the king without a visible crown, but with a throne built upon carcasses. An adult male rests under the midday sun. His dark mane absorbs the heat, a thermal disadvantage he pays for with pride. That mane is not vanity, it is a message. The darker it is, the more testosterone. The denser it is, the more battles survived. Other males see it and calculate their odds. Females see it and calculate his genetics. 250 kilograms of muscle, claws, and fangs. A body designed for a single function, killing animals larger than himself. But the lion does not hunt alone. That is the king's paradox. He depends on his queens to survive. The lionesses move like shadows when the light begins to fade. They are smaller, more agile, more lethal as a group. While the male protects the territory and cubs from invading males, they bring the food. A division of labor that has been perfecting itself for millions of years. The instinct never sleeps. The pride has located a group of wildebeest that has separated from the main herd, a mistake they will pay for dearly. The lionesses deploy in absolute silence, each one taking position in an invisible arc that slowly closes. There is no audible communication. They don't need it. Each female knows exactly what to do because she has done it hundreds of times. The grass barely bends. A lioness advances centimeter by centimeter, her belly brushing the ground. Her eyes fixed on a young wildebeest that has made the mistake of straying 3 meters from the group. 3 meters, the distance between living and dying. The weight is unbearable. Minutes stretch like hours. The lioness's muscles tremble from the effort of staying still. The wildebeest grazes, oblivious to its fate. It raises its head, chews, lowers it again. Every movement is analyzed. Every pause is an opportunity. And then the explosion. The lioness crosses the space like a projectile of flesh and fury, 0 to 60 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds. The wildebeest reacts too late. Its brain processes the danger a fraction of a second after its legs begin to move. That fraction is enough. Claws dig into the flank. The weight brings down the prey. Fangs seek the throat with surgical precision. There is no margin for error. If the wildebeest escapes now, she will have spent energy she cannot recover. Every failed hunt is a step toward starvation. The bite is perfect. The trachea collapses. The wildebeest struggles, but every movement only accelerates the loss of oxygen. In less than 3 minutes, the resistance ceases. Silence again. The other lionesses emerge from the grass. The male appears last, claiming his right to eat first. The cubs watch from a distance, learning. Someday they will be the hunters, or they will be the hunted. But the feast will not be peaceful. In the Serengeti, the smell of blood travels for kilometers, and there are other hungry mouths already approaching. The hyenas. The conflict between lions and hyenas is ancestral. It is not competition, it is war. A confrontation that repeats every night since both species have walked these plains. Hyenas are more numerous. Lions are stronger individually. The outcome always depends on the numbers. Tonight, the hyenas arrive in a group of 15. The lions are 6. The mathematics do not favor the kings. What follows is not a battle, it is a calculation of risks. The hyenas surround the carcass, emitting their characteristic laugh that is not a laugh. It is communication. It is intimidation. It is the sound of a species that has survived millions of years by being smarter than it appears. The male roars, a sound heard 8 kilometers away, a warning that makes the ground vibrate. But the hyenas do not retreat. They know this enemy. They know that roaring is not the same as attacking. A hyena gets too close. The lion's claws trace a deadly arc. It misses by centimeters. The hyena retreats laughing. And then the lions make their decision. They eat what they can, quickly, tearing off chunks they swallow almost without chewing. When they leave more than half of the wildebeest to the hyenas. It is not defeat, it is strategy. Fighting costs energy. Energy is life. And tomorrow there will be another hunt. Where the savannah opens into endless plains, another predator writes its own story. Not with brute force or nighttime ambushes, with pure speed. The cheetah. Its body is an evolutionary contradiction. It looks fragile next to other big cats, long slender legs, narrow chest, small head. A design that sacrificed power for something more valuable in these open plains. Every gram of its anatomy is optimized for a single purpose. Being the fastest land animal on the planet, 120 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds. But that speed comes at a brutal price. The female rests atop a termite mound, using the elevation to survey the horizon. Her eyes are different from any other feline. Round pupils, not vertical, exceptional daytime vision. She can identify a gazelle 5 kilometers away. Beside her, 3 4-month-old cubs observe the world with the curiosity of those who do not yet understand its rules. Their grayish fur mimics the mane of a honey badger, an animal few predators dare to bother. Evolutionary camouflage. Even in the cradle, the Serengeti demands strategy. The wind shifts. The female raises her head. 800 meters away, a group of Thompson's gazelles grazes without hurry. They are the cheetah's preferred prey, small, fast, but not fast enough. What follows is a ritual repeated thousands of times each day on the savannah. The hunt. The cheetah descends from the termite mound with fluid movements. She does not crawl like the lioness. She cannot afford the luxury of long ambushes. Her body overheats within seconds during the chase. Every pursuit is a gamble where the prize is food and the risk is collapse. She advances, walking, almost casually. The gazelles have seen her. This is not a mistake. It is part of the game. The cheetah cannot sustain her maximum speed for more than 400 meters. If the chase extends beyond that, she loses. If the gazelle has too much of a head start, she loses. If the terrain is uneven, she loses. The odds are always against her. 70 meters, the ideal distance. The female freezes. The muscles in her hind legs load like springs. Her spine, extraordinarily flexible curves storing potential energy. 40 meters. The gazelles raise their heads. Ancient instinct screams danger, but they don't know where it will come from. They don't know who has been chosen. The explosion is almost invisible. The cheetah crosses the space like a bullet of golden fur. Her paws barely touch the ground. Her spine stretches and contracts with each stride, adding meters to her reach. 7 meters per second of acceleration. The world becomes a blur. The chosen gazelle reacts an instant late. That instant is its sentence. It turns left. The cheetah adjusts without slowing, her long tail acting as a rudder. The gazelle changes direction again. The cheetah follows, as if reading its mind. 20 seconds. That's all it lasts. The front paw strikes the gazelle's hindquarters. The imbalance makes it tumble. Before it finishes falling, the fangs are already at its throat. Victory. But the cheetah does not eat. She cannot. Her body has reached temperatures that would fry any other mammal. Panting violently, with her heart beating at 150 beats per minute, she can only wait. 15 minutes of recovery before tasting her prize. And in those 15 minutes, anything can happen. A silhouette approaches from the east. Then another. Hyenas that have watched the hunt from a distance, waiting for this exact moment. The cheetah sees them coming and makes her decision in a fraction of a second. She abandons the prey. There is no shame in that retreat. There is survival. The cheetah cannot fight. Her semi-retractable claws, designed for traction, are useless as weapons. Her light body would be destroyed in a confrontation. Fighting means injuries. Injuries mean not being able to hunt. Not being able to hunt means dying. The female returns to her cubs with an empty stomach. Tomorrow she will try again, and the day after, and the next day, because that is the cheetah's life. An endless race where the finish line always moves. Out of every 10 hunts, only 5 succeed. Out of every 5 prey captured, 2 are stolen by stronger competitors. The numbers are cruel, but the cheetah keeps running. Because giving up is not an option evolution has programmed. There is a moment each year when the Serengeti holds its breath, when the dry season tightens its grip on the savannah and grass turns to dust. The greatest exodus on the planet begins. The Great Migration. Nearly 2 million wildebeest, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, set off toward the north, a living column stretching for kilometers, raising a cloud of dust visible from space. It is not a conscious decision. It is an impulse engraved in their genes over millions of years. Follow the rain, follow the green grass, keep living. The sound is indescribable. Millions of hooves pounding the parched earth. Constant grunts serving as a location system between mothers and calves. A deep chorus that never ceases day and night for entire months. But the migration is not just a journey. It is a parade of fresh meat before the eyes of every predator in the ecosystem. Lions position themselves strategically along the known routes. Hyena packs increase their patrols. Wild dogs emerge from their dens with their now-grown pups ready to hunt. And in the waters of the Mara River, the crocodiles awaken from their lethargy. The Mara River, a name that means death for every wildebeest that has survived long enough to know it. 100 meters of murky water separating life from death, hunger from abundance, Tanzania from Kenya. The first groups arrive at the bank and stop. Something in their primitive brain screams danger. They can smell the predators. They can feel the current. They know what awaits them. But behind them, the pressure builds. Thousands upon thousands of animals pile up on the bank, pushing those in front. There is no retreat possible. There are no alternative routes. Only the water remains. One wildebeest jumps first. It is the trigger for an avalanche. Suddenly, hundreds of bodies launch into the river in a chaos of legs, horns, and desperation. The water becomes brown foam. The weakest are trampled before touching the water. The slowest will be last to arrive. The last are the chosen ones. And then the jaws emerge. Nile crocodiles. Reptiles that have perfected the art of ambush for 200 million years. Some measure more than 5 meters long. They weigh more than 900 kilograms. They have waited months for this moment, surviving on the minimum, reserving energy for the feast that now begins. The attack is devastatingly simple. The crocodile selects its victim underwater, invisible in the murk. It approaches from below, taking advantage of the crossing's confusion, and when it is close enough, it explodes upward with a force no mammal can match. The jaws close with a pressure of more than 1,500 kilograms per square centimeter. There is no escape possible. The wildebeest is dragged beneath the surface, violently rolled until it drowns or bleeds out. A single crocodile can capture 20 prey during the crossing, enough to feed it for months. The water turns red, but the wildebeest keep crossing. They have no choice. The instinct to follow the herd is stronger than the fear of death. They pass over the bodies of those who fell seconds before. They pass alongside crocodiles still chewing their last victim. They pass because stopping means dying of hunger instead of being devoured. The opposite bank becomes a different battlefield. Those who manage to exit the water are exhausted, disoriented, vulnerable. The lions that waited patiently among the bushes now collect their toll. A soaked wildebeest, trembling with exhaustion, cannot run. It can only accept its fate. Thousands die each year at this crossing, drowned, devoured, crushed by the stampede. Their bodies feed the river and everything that lives in it. But more than 1 million survive. And those survivors will reach Kenya's green pastures. They will fatten. They will reproduce. And when the rains return to the south, they will make the journey again in the opposite direction. An eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth that defines the Serengeti more than anything else. The migration is not cruelty. It is pure mathematics. Without this massive movement, the southern grass would be depleted. Predators would starve. The entire ecosystem would collapse. The wildebeest that die at the crossing are not victims. They are the price life pays to keep existing. Every body that falls feeds crocodiles, vultures, hyenas, fish, insects. Every bone left on the bank returns nutrients to the earth. Every drop of blood that stains the water fertilizes the algae that feed the fish that feed the birds. Nothing is wasted. Everything has purpose. That is the true law of the Serengeti. When the sun sinks behind the horizon and shadows devour the savannah, another hunter awakens. It does not seek the glory of lions, nor depend on the cheetah's speed. Its weapon is absolute stealth. The leopard, spotted ghost, silent assassin, the most adaptable of all African big cats. An adult male rests in the fork of an acacia, his mottled body blending perfectly with the play of light and shadow in the foliage. From above, he observes everything, the herds passing by, the other predators patrolling, the opportunities that arise and disappear, 70 kilograms of pure muscle distributed in a body designed to climb, leap and kill in silence. The leopard is a contradictor of rules. Where lions need prides, he prefers solitude. Where cheetahs require open plains, he dominates any terrain. Savanna, forest, mountain, even the edges of human cities. Where there is shadow, the leopard can thrive. Night falls completely. The feline's eyes absorb every available photon. His night vision is 6 times superior to humans. In this darkness that blinds others, he sees with meridian clarity. He slides from the tree without making a sound. His cushioned paws absorb the impact. Not a leaf crunches, not a branch breaks. It is as if gravity does not apply the same rules to this animal. His territory extends over more than 30 square kilometers. He knows it as he knows his own body. Every rock, every tree, every hunting trail, every place where he can ambush, and every escape route if something goes wrong. Something moves in the grass. A young impala has strayed from the group. Fatal error. The leopard has seen it before. The impala knew it was being watched. What follows is a masterclass in patience. The feline advances in slow motion. Every step is measured, calculated, executed with millimetric precision. He freezes movement when the impala raises its head. He advances when the impala resumes grazing. 10 meters can take 20 minutes. The impala has no idea what is approaching. 5 meters, the distance of death. The leopard crouches, compressing his body like a spring. His hindquarters tremble from the contained tension. His eyes never blink. His breathing becomes imperceptible. The leap is devastating. There is no chase. There is no race. Only a concentrated explosion of violence lasting less than a second. The fangs pierce the throat before the impala processes what is happening. The leopard's bite is different from other felines. More precise, more definitive. It crushes the trachea and punctures the arteries in a single movement. Absolute silence. But the leopard knows the work is not finished. In the Serengeti, a prey on the ground is an open invitation. The hyenas will arrive first. Then the lions. A solitary leopard cannot defend its food from either of them, so he does something no other big cat can do. He grabs the impala by the neck, he lifts it, and he begins to climb. 70 kilograms of predator dragging 60 kilograms of prey toward the branches of an acacia. It is an act of strength that defies logic. Every muscle in his body works at its limit. His claws dig into the bark, finding grip where others would slip. Minute by minute, meter by meter, the leopard ascends. When he finally reaches the right fork, he deposits his prey and rests. Below, the world follows its rules. The hyenas have already arrived, smelling the blood, searching for the source. They look up and see what they cannot reach. The leopard eats without hurry. He can spend entire days in that tree, feeding slowly, sleeping between meals, surveying his territory from the heights. What he doesn't finish today will be waiting tomorrow. The meat dries on the branches, preserved from the ground and from terrestrial scavengers. This is the leopard's genius. He does not compete by strength. He does not compete by speed. He competes by intelligence. In a world of direct confrontation, he has chosen strategic evasion. In an ecosystem where the biggest dominate, he has found a niche where size doesn't matter. That is why the leopard survives where others have disappeared. That is why his population remains stable, while lions and cheetahs fight for every meter of territory. That is why, when all other big cats face extinction, the leopard will probably still be stalking in the shadows. Adapting is not surrendering. It is the highest form of evolutionary victory. There is an animal in the Serengeti that lions avoid when they can. It is not the elephant, too large to be prey. It is not the hippopotamus confined to its waters. It is a bovine of ordinary appearance that hides the fury of a warrior. The Cape buffalo. 800 kilograms of muscle, bone, and volcanic temperament. Its horns form a bony shield over the forehead called a boss, capable of withstanding the impact of a rifle shot. Its black eyes look at the world with a hostility that does not distinguish between predators and the curious. Buffaloes kill more human hunters than any other African animal, and the lions know it. A herd of 300 buffaloes advances across the plain. They move like a military unit, dominant males on the perimeter, females and calves protected in the center. There is no individualism here. A lone buffalo is vulnerable. A herd of buffaloes is indestructible. The lions watch from a distance. A pride of 8 lionesses and 2 young males evaluates the situation. They are hungry. They haven't eaten in 3 days. The buffaloes represent enough meat to feed the group for a week, but the risk is enormous. A wounded buffalo does not flee, it attacks. And when a buffalo attacks, others come to help. Lions have learned this lesson over generations. The scars on their flanks confirm it. The opportunity arises at dusk. A calf has fallen behind. Its mother tries to push it back to the group, but the little one is exhausted. The distance between it and the herd grows meter by meter. The lions don't need to communicate. They have all seen the gap. The attack is coordinated with military precision. 3 lionesses flank the mother, distracting her. 2 more cut off the route back to the group. The rest go directly for the calf. It is cruel. It is efficient. It is survival. But buffaloes do not abandon their own. The dominant male turns first. His alarm bellow cuts through the air like thunder. Within seconds, 30 buffaloes have formed a charging line, horns lowered, hooves hammering the earth. The lions have a fraction of a second to decide. They abandon the attack. There is no pride when the alternative is death. They scatter like shadows as the avalanche of muscle and horns passes where they stood moments before. The calf returns to its mother. The herd regroups. This time, the buffaloes win. But in the Serengeti, every battle is just an episode in an endless war. And while the great predators nurse their wounds, other opportunists take their place. The spotted hyenas. No animal in the Serengeti is more misunderstood. They are portrayed as cowardly scavengers, thieves of others' prey. The reality is different. Hyenas are formidable hunters. More than 70% of their food comes from prey they kill themselves. Their jaws exert the strongest pressure of any carnivorous mammal, capable of crushing bones that lions abandon. And their social structure defies conventions. A hyena clan can exceed 80 individuals. It is led by a female, the matriarch, who dominates even the largest males. Females are larger, more aggressive, and have absolute priority in feeding. Males are second-class citizens, tolerated as long as they are useful. Hyena hunting is an exercise in endurance. They do not depend on explosive speed. They trot at 40 kilometers per hour for kilometers, taking turns to maintain pressure on the chosen prey. A wildebeest can escape a lion that ambushes. It cannot escape 15 hyenas pursuing it without rest. The sound of the hunt is unmistakable. Sharp howls rising in the night. The famous laugh that is not a laugh, but a communication system that coordinates the group. Every tone has meaning. Every call transmits information about position, prey, dangers. When they finally bring down their victim, the feast is brutal. Hyenas do not wait for the prey to die. They begin feeding while the animal still struggles. It is savage. It is ruthless, but it is efficient. In 30 minutes, an adult wildebeest disappears completely. Meat, organs, bones, skin. Hyenas waste nothing. Their stomachs can digest what other carnivores discard. The acids in their digestive system dissolve the calcium from bones, extracting nutrients that would otherwise be lost. That is why their feces are white. It is pure calcium. And this is where hyenas fulfill their most important function. They are the recyclers of the Serengeti. What lions abandon, hyenas consume. What hyenas leave, vultures claim. And what remains after that, insects and bacteria return to the earth. Without hyenas, the Serengeti would drown in carrion. Carcasses would accumulate, spreading diseases, contaminating water sources. The ecosystem would collapse under the weight of its own mortality. Hyenas prevent that collapse. They are not villains, they are necessary. And in the great theater of the Serengeti, their role is as crucial as that of the lion everyone admires. The midday sun punishes the savanna without mercy. The air trembles over the yellowed grass, creating mirages that promise water where there is only dust. And in the sky, slow circles announce that someone has died below. The vultures. From heights exceeding 1,000 meters, their eyes detect what no other animal can see. The color of carrion against the brown of the grass, the movement of other scavengers converging, the invisible signals that scream feast to those who know how to read them. A white-backed vulture initiates its descent. It is not elegant in its approach flight. Its wings struggle against the thermal currents as its bare neck stretches toward the target. That bald neck is not an imperfection. It is pure evolution. A feathered neck would become soiled with blood and viscera, creating fatal infections. The vulture has sacrificed aesthetics for survival. The first to land sends a message to the sky. Within minutes, dozens more descend. What follows appears chaotic, but has a strict order. The largest vultures feed first. Their powerful beaks open the tough skin that others cannot penetrate. The smaller ones wait their turn, picking up scraps that fall. Marabou storks, carrion birds of prehistoric appearance, patrol the edges, claiming forgotten fragments. There is no permanent conflict, only efficient competition. In less than an hour, the body of a wildebeest that weighed 200 kilograms is reduced to clean bones. What took years to grow, minutes to die, disappears in less time than it takes to tell the story. This is the speed of recycling in the Serengeti. But vultures don't just clean, they protect. Their digestive system is a biological neutralization laboratory. Their stomach acids destroy bacteria that would kill any other animal. Anthrax, botulism, cholera, diseases that could spread from a decomposing carcass, die inside the vulture without causing harm. They are vaccines with wings, sanitary guardians that the Serengeti cannot afford to lose. And yet they are disappearing. Poison intended for predators that attack livestock kills the vultures that find the poisoned carcasses. A single contaminated body can eliminate hundreds of birds in a day. Populations that took millions of years to establish vanish within decades. The Serengeti feels the absence. Where once a carcass disappeared within hours, now it takes days. The diseases that vultures controlled begin to spread. The invisible balance that sustained everything wobbles. But the savanna keeps turning. The cycle continues because it must continue. A new dawn breaks on the horizon, tinting the sky with oranges and reds that no artist could replicate. The shadows retreat, and the Serengeti reveals its impossible vastness once again. 30,000 square kilometers of constant life, death and rebirth. The wildebeest that survived the night begin to move. The zebras shake the dew from their striped backs. The gazelles test the air with sensitive noses, detecting threats before they materialize. Somewhere, a lioness nurses cubs that will learn to kill before they turn 1 year old. Elsewhere, a solitary cheetah scans the horizon, searching for her next race against death. The leopard sleeps in his tree, with the remains of his dinner hanging from a neighboring branch. Everything exactly as it was yesterday, as it will be tomorrow, or so it seems. The Serengeti is a balance forged in blood and time. Every predator, every prey, every scavenger plays a role that took millions of years to perfect. But under the relentless sun, something is changing. The rains arrive late or don't arrive at all. Temperatures rise year after year. The grasses that feed the herbivores grow less and die sooner. The migrations that followed a precise calendar begin to fall out of sync. The animals that survived predators, droughts, and diseases for eons now face an enemy they cannot see or comprehend. Climate change is rewriting the rules of the game. The migration routes that worked for millions of years no longer lead where they should. The rivers that always had water dry up when they are needed most. The predators that depended on predictable prey find an increasingly chaotic world. The strength of the Serengeti lies not in its violence, but in its capacity to resist. But resistance has limits, and those limits approach faster than any species can adapt. Protecting this battlefield is protecting the living memory of what it means to survive. Because if the Serengeti falls, with it falls the last proof that nature, in its most brutal form, remains perfect. Every lion that roars at dawn is a testament to millions of years of evolution. Every wildebeest that crosses the Mara River is a link in a chain that began before humans existed. Every vulture that cleans the savannah is a silent guardian of a balance we cannot afford to lose. The Serengeti does not ask for compassion. It doesn't need it. It asks for respect. It asks for space. It asks that observers become protectors before there is nothing left to protect. Because here, on this infinite plain, where life and death dance an eternal waltz, the oldest story on Earth is written every day, the story of survival. And that story deserves to continue. If you felt the power of this journey, like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next stories of nature in its purest state. Until next time.